Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Samurai Goddess. The goddess next door takes on kung fu killers in this action-packed martial arts Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Samurai Goddess in paperback and e-readers today. Every year, I usually write a blog detailing the goals I seek to accomplish in a calendar year. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to write that blog detailing the goals I want to accomplish in 2019 because in the last days of 2018, I had a severe attack of carpal tunnel syndrome, which first left my left thumb, completely swollen, and then made my wrist completely immobile and made it impossible for me to move my fingers. And because I was dealing with issues of carpal tunnel syndrome in my left hand, I wasn't able to write that blog detailing the goals I wanted to accomplish. So I'm going to talk about the goals I want to accomplish in this video. And my main goal that I want to accomplish this year is seeing the Isis Graphic Novel Indiegogo get funded. Now, this Isis Graphic Novel Indiegogo that I have been planning is an adaptation of the upcoming Isis series book, Isis All That Glitters, and this will be the first comic book that I hope to publish under the SJS Direct imprint. Now, when it comes down to this Isis graphic novel, this is a project I just can't afford to do on my own, and the budget for this project is projected to be about $30,000. And those costs are I've itemized in a previous blog and a previous video, and I'm going to itemize them once again for you. Now, when it comes down to Bill Walko's art, his art is going to cost $9,300 for the entire project. That's for Bill to draw all 62 pages of the Isis graphic novel stories, Isis All That Glitters, and Easting No Good Deed. And it's also going to cost about I say $80 to $100 for me to hire a colorist, and another $80 to $100 a page to hire a letterer. And these are the industry standard rates. And I'm also have to bring in a proofreader, and I don't know how much that's going to cost, but all of these costs combined with the printing and shipping costs are going to cost about $30,000. And that's the only way I can get this project off the ground again is with everybody's support for the Indiegogo. Now, my reasons for publishing the first Isis graphic novel is to, one, help take the SJS Direct imprint to the next level by branching out into a new product outside of my usual novels and nonfiction by producing a comic book, and two, it's something that I've always wanted to do. Ever since I was 9 years old, I've always wanted to produce comics. Unfortunately, because I couldn't draw, I wound up making the pictures with words. And as I got into my 20s, when I originally created the Isis character, I originally created her to be a comic book character, and most people who have read the books say they read like a comic. And I wanted to publish this comic to show that I had the ability and skill to not only write a comic, but I also wanted this to be a showcase for Bill Walko's art to show how great it is. Because whenever I look at a Bill Walko piece for either his Hero Business strip or one of his commissions or one of the Isis or Easting covers, it's one of those pictures that just makes you light up and smile. And I would love to see what Bill could do with an entire Isis story and see what type of story he could tell with pictures, because he tells great stories with pictures, and I want to see what we could do if I took my words and they were told with his pictures. And with this story, I want to give readers a old school comic book superhero story something we usually don't get these days. Because when it comes down to superheroes these days, either they are in these epic sagas where it's multi-crossover events, or it's these cosmic sagas where they're taking on these universe-shattering menaces, and we're not seeing superheroes participate in everyday stories where they take on things like bank robbers. And with this story, I wanted to put my interpretation of the old school bank robber story, and I wanted to show how that story could be fresh and fun in the 21st century. And I wanted to create a comic that was accessible to all ages readers, because when it comes down to the Isis series, I oftentimes get readers all over the world for the books, and they enjoy the books, and I believe that they would enjoy the Isis character in the medium that she was originally meant to be in. I think people would really enjoy an Isis comic, because when it comes down to the stories I write, I usually write old school style comic stories, and that's the type of story I want to give readers with this Isis All That Glitters graphic novel. I want to give you a fun, all ages, family friendly story where you can take this comic and literally give it to your kids and not worry about anything. This comic that I'm planning, the stories are both very PG, they're very family friendly, and they're meant to have a lot of action, a lot of humor, and a lot of fun. And they're the kind of comics, again, that we used to read back in the 1980s, when we used to go to the grocery store, when we used to go to the spinner rack at the 7-Eleven, or in my case in the Bronx, the bodega. And this is the type of comic that I believe anybody could just read. It's, again, I made this Isis comic script to be extremely all ages, and I made this graphic novel to be as all ages and family friendly as possible. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this project, is because I want to give readers the type of comic reading experience I got back in the day with this project, and I want to give them a comic they could enjoy. So that's the main goal I have for this year, is I want to see this Isis graphic novel Indiegogo get funded, and I can only do that with your help. So I'm hoping all of the people out here will come out and support me, the black comic fans, the sci-fi fans, all the people who are a part of Comicscape. I'm hoping that everyone will come out and support me when I launch the Isis Indiegogo, because again, I can only do this project with your help, and I really want to see a great comic come to the marketplace, and I want to share that comic with readers, and I want to build bridges with the readers in the comic book industry, and I want to show them the types of stories I want to tell with this project. If I can get this project funded, I have plans to do more Isis stories in the graphic novel format, and the next book I really want to do is either one of the Isis stories that I think is good, My Sister, My Frenemy, or I really want to do a John Haynes, A Conversation with Death adaptation with a Spinsterella backup story. Now, my second goal for 2019 is doing live streams. And when it comes down to live streams, many comic fans have been asking me to do a live stream. And now that I have home internet, I can now do a live stream with all of those comic fans and sci-fi fans who have been asking me to do a live stream. So I have the home internet now, and that's why you have been seeing me again in this new apartment with this new set layout, because this is what I want to do. I want to be able to be here and do the live streams, and I also want to be able to have a place to do videos. Now, all I'm waiting for right now is for Amazon to deliver my desk to do the live streams, and we will be set to do live streams. And I've got a series of topics to talk about regarding live streams, and several of them are very comic related. Some of them are related to black fantasy and black science fiction. Others are related to issues in the black community. And there's one video live stream I really want to do, and that is one talking about African Americans in the goth subculture, because I've met a lot of black goths here on YouTube and on social media, and I really would love to do a live stream where we just talk about the black goth subculture and give it the platform that it really should have, because it's a topic I believe definitely needs to be talked about, and it's something that I really want to see talked about. Other topics I would love to talk about are things related to black fantasy and black science fiction, and I would love to do an entire one, maybe even talking about Milestone Comics. These are live streams I would love to do when I finally get set up. Usually I think I want to do about an hour-long live stream or an hour and 30-minute live stream. It depends on how things are, and I'd like to really set a day for it. So that's something else I would like to do. That's another goal I have set, is to start doing live streams on the regular where I talk about different topics and I talk about different subjects. And that's a goal I have set up for myself now that I have the resources to do this, thanks to donors on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you for all of your support, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in this place where I could go out here and do this. But I'm here, and now we can start doing the live streams, and we can start building momentum to get those sales for the Isis graphic novel on Indiegogo. Now, the third goal I have is towards increasing sales on the SJS Direct imprint. And thanks to Obsidian Radio, I've really been able to build momentum in that regard as related to sales of SJS Direct books, and I thank him for having me on his show 3, I think, or 4 times last year. And if those appearances really had a positive impact on the SJS Direct imprint and the catalog of SJS Direct books, and they've allowed me to reach more readers. And I would love to do another show with Obsidian or anyone else who wants to discuss things in an intelligent manner there, because there's a lot of guys I would like to have to do shows with, especially guys like Ethan Van Sciver or Comics Explained. I would love to do shows with them, and I would love to do, again, another show with him, because we have very intelligent discourse on those shows. We have good discussions, and we can talk about serious topics on those platforms. And I wouldn't have gotten this far without Obsidian Radio. And I thank him for having me on his show and helping me out with his Shawn James initiative. Now, the fourth goal I have is, again, trying to improve the quality of SJS Direct books. And I really made a lot of strides last year, because in 2018, what happened was, for the first time, almost all of the SJS Direct imprint books had professional covers. Almost every SJS Direct book last year had a cover by a professional comic artist, whether it was Bill Walko, who designed the cover for Isis Escape from Transylvania, Easting the Sands of Time, or Mike Williams, who designed the cover for John Haynes' A Conversation with Death, and Bill also designed the covers for the 2019 books, Isis All That Glitters, and Easting Got Us Up. So all the books for the 2018, outside of the Man Crisis, which I designed, had covers designed by professional comic artists. And I believe, and also Drew Swift designed the cover for Isis Imitation of Life. So every SJS Direct book last year had a cover done by a professional comic book artist. And I believe one of the greatest ways you can show respect to a comic book artist is not by saying their work is great, by going out here and giving that artist a job. And that's one of the things I want to do for comic artists, is give them a opportunity to have their work seen in the marketplace of trade publishing, and give them an opportunity to have their work featured on a cover, because getting a cover is something that was once in the old school publishing world considered one of those great honors, and was considered a great opportunity because the cover is the first thing people see. So when I see great comic art and I see a great artist, I want to give them an opportunity to get their work out there and have their work featured in the marketplace. And I would love to feature comic art on my covers. Again, one of the reasons why I feature comic art on many of my covers is, again, because of my love of comic books and my love of the comic book industry, because it was comic books that were my gateway to reading. It was comics that were my gateway to writing. And comics have been a major part of my life. And this is my way of continuing to share my love of comics by featuring the art of comic artists on my covers. This is something that I want to do and I want to continue to do. And I want to go out here and, again, feature comic art on the regular on my covers for my books. And I believe it's a very positive impact, because what has been happening is people are really enjoying the covers, and those covers are bringing in new readers. So when it comes down to comic artists, I want to feature them on my covers, because that was, again, my way of giving back to the medium that gave me so much, and it was the gateway to me being a lifetime reader and a lifetime comic fan. So that's another goal I want to do, is in addition to the Isis graphic novel and the trying to reach new sales, is trying to feature more comic art inside the pages of SJS Direct Books or on the covers of SJS Direct Books. So that's another goal I have for 2019. Now, these are the primary goals I have. And as for the YouTube channel, the goals I have for that is I really want to really do more comic content, more fantasy content, and more goth content, because that's where my passions really lie. I mean, when it comes down to the African American community, I do like making those videos, but I really enjoy making those videos about comics, fantasy, science fiction, and the goth subculture, because those are the ones that allow me to reach people. And then there's the men's issues videos, which I really enjoy, because those help a lot of people, and they really help people move their lives forward. So I also want to do more men's issues videos, and I also want to do more videos as related to writing, because writing is one of those is a gift that God has given me, and every time I do a writing video, a lot of guys learn from those videos, and I was surprised to hear that guys were learning from my writing videos, especially the ones where I talk about different aspects of story. So I really want to go out and do more of those videos, and I have some plans for more of those videos. Now, these are the goals that I want to set for 2019, and several of them I believe that I could do on my own, and others I'm going to need your support for, like getting the upcoming Isis Graphic Novel Indiegogo funded, and continuing to do things like live streams. Thanks to your donations on Patreon and PayPal, I now have the home internet to do live streams, and I plan on doing a live stream starting around later this month. I'll let you know what the date is, and I'll let you know what the topic will be for that live stream. Stay tuned to this channel, because when it comes down to this channel, I'm looking to expand it, and I'm looking to try to reach new audiences with new and fresh, exciting content. And I'm hoping that you stick around for that content in the future. Now, if you want to try some of the Isis series books before the Isis Indiegogo launches, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com in this description box. And if you want to continue helping me work towards moving forward, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box or the PayPal link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.